53 without loss as we approach 3:15 on this Sunday afternoon. We were, of course, due it's often quite funny when the football's going on down through the sort of gap. You can see people on their way down to the other Old Trafford. Oh, it's bowled! It's Phoebe Graham. She's found the breakthrough. Thunder needed it. 53 for the first wicket. Corney, who'd looked so compact at the crease and so good, is out for 23. She will be frustrated. Bowled by Phoebe Graham. And Thunder needed that breakthrough, and they've got it, Polly Starkey. And, well, could that be the first twist we're going to see in these 48 overs? And how many more will we see? Well, we're going to find out shortly. A much-needed wicket there.
Yeah, definitely. That was a key wicket, and you want to break those partnerships as soon as you can. You don't want them to carry the game away with them. It does bring Sophie Luff in, which is a slight issue for Thunder, but again, if they can get her out quickly, then I think it's fine. And she needs time to settle at the crease. I don't think she'll be firing straight away. So they've got time to put pressure and build that pressure and try and get her out.
She's in great form. 256 runs this year to go with the 756 she had prior to 2022. So that's 1,012 runs she walks to the crease with in Rachael Heyhoe-Flint Trophy cricket across the 3 editions. So she is a very useful operator indeed, which makes this a very, very big ball in the cricket match, because she hasn't faced Phoebe Graham yet today. The skies are clearing, but still cloudy. We've had a bit of moisture around. This is early in the innings, the time they need to get Sophie Luff. As we say, she will have eyes on those totals, or those batters in front of her in the run scoring list up towards and beyond 300. That's a wide ball down the leg side, a little bit of an anti-climax in the end, having given that delivery the big build-up. 54 for 1. You mentioned Thunder's total today of 243. They batted very well, just for the loss of 5 wickets, as in comes Graham and bowls into the pitch, but it's negotiated comfortably by Sophie Luff to bring the 9th over to an end, but it brought a wicket crucially, and all of a sudden it still won a ball, but with 1 wicket it just puts it back more in the balance, you feel.
Yeah, in some ways I'd argue it does, but at the same time, Western Storm have an incredible batting lineup. I mean, you have Sophia Smale coming in at 8, and her recent scores, I think she got 59, and she'll love me mentioning that she got 46, which she told me she got because I missed out of my stats originally. But you know, they can bat solidly down to number 8 at least. And so actually I don't think wickets are a massive concern for Western Storm. They have been bowled out twice, I think, in this tournament. So that it is,
it's possible.
Exactly, it's possible. It's somewhat a problem, but at this stage, I think it's all right. You've got Sophie Luff, who's really experienced and scores runs for fun, and then you've got Alex Griffiths, who's been performing quite well recently and looks really comfortable today.
Now, this is interesting, because Alex Hartley will often take the ball at the end of the power play. The duty has fallen to Hannah Jones here. For the last over of the power play, we're going to see some left arm spin. Danny Collins swinging her legs around as well, just trying to get loose. You're right as well on this total of 242 for 5, being the highest one that Thunder have had this year in the competition, Polly Starkey, as Danny Collins comes in to do the fielding at mid-on, so that loosening up was clearly worth it. Hannah Jones right on the spot first ball, and gets a dot in the scorer's book as a result. Jones throws it up again, driven firmly at Sophia Turner. They'd had 236 and 238 in games prior to this, and 235 actually at Sale against Diamond. So they've been around there, but never quite this many. It's been reduced with the weather. Now, there should be a run out, but the throw was wayward from Graham, and perhaps they took the run based on the fact the tall fast bowler was there at short third, and was perhaps it was going to take a little bit of effort to get down there and then to get the ball out the hand, and it wasn't accurate. 55 for 1, but that was a tight single to bring Sophie Luff on strike, and that could have been a way to get her out.
Yeah, I mean they'll probably look for that because it's a bit easier than bowling her. But yeah, Western Storm have got to be careful not to just throw away their wickets with silly runs, because they've got the time and they're in a perfect position to get the rest of the runs they need and don't need to risk it.
Hannah Jones bringing footwork, fancy footwork from Sophie Luff there. Didn't have much of a look, did she? Straight down the track, but unable to divert the ball past Daisy Mullin at mid-wicket. Here comes Jones again, who's got a slip to Luff in the form of Danny Collins. And Laura Marshall retrieving the ball. Good sweeper, Laura Marshall. A lot of running going on between Graham and Collins here. They're switching the position at mid-on. I think it's to allow Collins to go to slip for Luff, and they feel that could be crucial in the game. She can take a catch there, but it's a lot of running for the pair of them. And I can't imagine if you're gasping for breath at slip, it makes it particularly easier to catch a chance if it does come off the spinner. Tidy first over from Hannah Jones there. Just the 2 runs off it takes the score on to 56 for 1. So having been at 1 a ball during the power play, Storm just dropping slightly behind that, but they're well ahead of their required rate of 4.97 to win this game. A reminder, it's a reduced target of 239 from 48 overs. We'll make a switch in the commentary position and we'll get Paige Corns to pop back in. Thanks to Polly Starkey there for her thoughts during those first 10 overs. And we will see what can be produced by Phoebe Graham, who picked up the first wicket. She's got a slip, a gully, a backward point, a cover, a short extra cover, and a mid-off as she runs in and bowls, and it's diverted, a bouncy delivery by Luff down into the gully region where Danny Collins is found. It feels like Thunder are really going after Luff here. They know she has more than 1,000 runs in Rachael Heyhoe-Flint Trophy cricket, and they feel they need to get her early, it seems, because there's been a slip in place to the spinner and now a slip and a gully, and a short extra cover, which 3 catches is a signal of intent, it feels, Paige Corns, as this one is played towards the gully. Dottin will come across from backward point, though, to pick up to her left-hand side and prevent a run again.
Yeah, definitely. I think that they know how much of an important wicket she is, and that, you know, they need to focus on that, and then hopefully, you see, we get 1 brings 2, so hopefully if you can get her out, then you can start to, you know, get into this very strong Storm batting lineup.
Yep, she's we're privileged really to watch a player of Sophie Luff's class here today, captaining Western Storm, although 2 dropped catches was very unusual to see, including one of Libby Heap, who made that 36 off 18 balls and really lit up the end of the Thunder innings as Luff goes for the drive outside the off stump. It's through into the gloves of Ellie Threlkeld. So we've been talking throughout the day about your sort of role with Her Game too. It's the reason that we have the logo in the top left corner. We've been hearing about sort of your associations in club cricket with Blackpool, of course, and also we obviously here with Lancashire and Thunder. What are sort of the priorities now then going forward? What are you sort of looking to achieve now as this one is bowled by Graham and is pushed into the offside, and Sophia Turner is there with the fielding? 56 for 1 is the score.
Yeah, we're actually partnered with Storm as well, and Gloucestershire. They were actually the first 2 kind of counting
So an appropriate
opponent.
Yes,
it's a Her Game 2 partner clash today between Thunder and Storm, which is fantastic, you know, especially as our first, you know, at Old Trafford.
Here comes Phoebe Graham, right arm over the wicket, little clip off the legs by Sophie Luff. That'll get her going nicely. It's away for 4 runs, almost as swiftly as it arrived. 60 for 1 as we approach the end of the 11th over. So that would be Abby Slade, would it, down who sort of looks after Western Storm down there. I know she's the Somerset representative, isn't she?
I think it's mainly Somerset kind of fair, but you know, they were kind of, that's the reason why the kind of cricket side of her game too kind of came into being, because obviously we started with football and that, you know, was so successful.
Here comes Phoebe Graham bowling right onto the spot again, just looking for that second wicket. Doesn't get it. Will they persist with the tactic? We'll have to wait another over to find out. It's 60 for 1 after 11 overs.
And well, it still is so successful, and actually Gloucestershire and Western Storm kind of reached out to the campaign and said, can we, you know, we like what you're doing, can we partner? And so that's kind of where the Her Game 2 cricket kind of campaign was born, and then we've just kind of expanded from there, you know, getting more kind of cricket focused people in to kind of spread the message and partnering with clubs across the country, working with obviously counties and the regional women's teams, and as well as working with grassroots clubs. And the main thing at the minute is, with it being still so new and it's still developing, is just kind of raising awareness firstly before we can do more material things.
Jones delivers with the sun shining over the high rises over Manchester, but a little bit more cloud here as this one's driven down the offside to Laura Jackson at mid-off, and Jones bowls, and again this is defended this time. The first one was driven, the second one defended by Griffiths, neither producing a run. So what does a club do? Because there'll be plenty of sort of grassroots clubs listening to this. As airily goes Griffiths. Well, that came from nowhere, and it's straight down the ground, and it's 4 runs, and that's a lovely shot from Alex Griffiths, 64 for 1. So what does a club do that's looking to find out more about this partnership and potentially join it?
Yeah, if you wanted to become a partner with the campaign, all you have to do is kind of reach out to us, really, and we're happy to kind of start that conversation. We've had a lot of clubs kind of just email, DM.
Jones bowling, driven down the onside to Phoebe Graham at mid-on, who stops a run being scored.
Or DM kind of our kind of social media accounts, which is just Her Game 2 Cricket, or you can email at hergame2cricket@gmail.com, and then we can start the conversation. Obviously, we find it best to kind of have a call with.
That's driven into the offside for a single, 65 for 1.
We kind of talk to clubs, speak to them, see what they're doing within either the women's game in terms of having teams and being part of leagues, or what they're doing just within the club to make the experience just more pleasant for women who want to attend or work within cricket.
Here comes Hannah Jones again, throws it up, and fiddled really by Sophie Luff, who's been busy on her feet up to mid-off for no run. 65 for 1 after 12 overs. The boundary meant there was 5 scored off that second Hannah Jones. So just to repeat that email address for anyone who was scrabbling about for a pen and paper and didn't have one with them, hergame2@gmail.com, and it's 2 as in TOO. Is that
it's
right?
hergame2cricket@gmail.com.
Hergame2 Cricket.
Yeah.
There you go. That's why we needed it repeated, because I even scribbled it down wrong. So hergame2 Cricket, and it's 2 as in TOO @gmail.com.
Yep.
So that's how you sort of get in touch via email, and then direct messages via the Twitter handles as well.
All of our different ambassadors have kind of club and county specific kind of Twitter accounts, so you can just reach out directly to them, or just reach out to the ambassadors' personal kind of accounts as well. So you could even reach out to, say, my own, which is just Paige Corns on Twitter.
So you were an early adopter then,
yeah,
to get that one.
I must have a rare name. I was very fortunate that I have the easiest email address in the world.
Sophia Turner is going to bowl from the Jimmy Anderson end, with Ellie Threlkeld stood up to the stumps. We have a mid-wicket, mid-on, backward square leg, and a long leg, as well as a mid-off, short extra cover, backward point, a fielder at cover, and Hannah Jones down at third. Sophia Turner bowls, rams it into the pitch, and she's very wicket to wicket, is Sophia Turner, and caught Griffiths on the back foot a little bit there. So a good start with a dot ball. So yeah, and when people do get in touch, then I guess, I mean, we've been talking about some of the sort of the bigger picture things, I suppose, and some of perhaps the more complicated things as well. But also we've been talking about those simple little steps as Turner comes in and bowls, and this one is played away into the offside, and Dottin comes through from backward point to do the field in 65 for 1. So I suppose they will get sort of good advice in both respects, but particularly with those simple little things that they can do quickly to make women feel more welcome at their club.
Absolutely, you know, a huge part of what we do is a reporting system.
Here's Turner bowling, clipped up into the leg side. Now that's going to go away for 4. Neat shot from Griffiths, who's looking more and more fluent. That's her 4th boundary of this innings. Takes the score up to 69. She's on to 30 as we approach 3:30 in the afternoon in this chase of 239 from 48 overs on the DLS method by Western Storm.
Yeah, that was a lovely shot and shows that that little rain at the start of this innings hasn't really affected the pitch or the outfield too much and slowed things down. So that's going to be a huge positive for the Storm batters who are at the crease and also waiting to come in.
Some considerable strength being shown by, I think it's Libby Heap over there to lift the advertising hoarding out. I don't know how much those things weigh, but Libby Heap's making it look like it's nothing at all. Oh no, it's not Libby Heap, it's Daisy Mullin who's done that over there. But either way, some good advertised hoarding shifting over there. Here comes Sophia Turner. Bowls as straight as you would expect from Sophia Turner, right at the stumps, and prevents a run being scored by Griffiths on this occasion. 69 for 1. So the reporting system is a big part of what you sort of help the clubs establish then.
Yeah, so clubs will have to, you know, create their own. They can use one that's already set up.
Here's
on the
Sophia
website.
Turner, bowls to Griffiths, pushes it onside, but that will be a no ball by the looks of things, confirmed by Naeem Ashraf there, and that of course means a free hit here, so let's keep our eyes on this. So you'll sort of send them the format for that then, I guess, of what the best practice is, if you like.
Yeah, we provide posters to place around clubs that are obviously kind of with our layout and have a QR code that you can scan or just or provide the link to, and that if you experience something within a club you can then report
Here's
it
Turner,
to
let's see what happens with the free hit. It was a slower ball Yorker in the end and flicked away by Griffiths, only picks up the 1, so Turner will be quite happy with that, I think. 71 for 1.
And then once, you know, if people report anything, we can then kind of come to clubs and say, you know, we received this, and then we can start to work with them to kind of rectify what has happened, and then make sure that it doesn't happen in the future. And I think also just a huge part of it is just having a presence within clubs to say that it's not acceptable anywhere, and it's saying that, you know, within that space it is, you know, you're going to get called up upon it if someone does commit something like that.
And is that how you're looking? You were talking when we had you on in the first innings about one of the biggest things for you is the need for a change in attitude, and is that how you're trying to create that change in attitude? Because that's a difficult thing to do in some ways, even though perhaps the steps that need to be taken are fairly simple ones, as Love defends that into the offside. 71 for 1 after 13 here at Old Trafford. 239 the chase. Is the idea then that you are very much sort of attempting to, by just having that visibility that look, behaviour of a sexist or misogynist nature is just not acceptable, and creating that sort of that visibility of it, is that how you're trying to achieve that change in attitude, if you like?
Definitely, because I think if you just gloss over things or ignore things or you can't see things, then you don't know that it's a problem. And I think sometimes you have to pinpoint what the issue really is, and that's for anything. And you have to kind of call it what it is to then make the changes, because otherwise it can just be kind of forgotten about or neglected because people aren't really aware, and if you don't experience it yourself.
Here's Hannah Jones, who bowls. This one's driven firmly to Phoebe Graham at mid-on, who does the fielding. Dot ball.
then you don't know that it's a problem. You know, if you don't see something, you don't know that it's happening or that it's there. And so I think that's why presence is so important.
Hannah Jones bowls, and that one turns into the defensive stroke. Sort of turns away from Griffiths, but into her defensive stroke. That doesn't bring a run on that occasion. Here comes Jones once more. Cut away, Dottin trying to get there as she often does, but couldn't prevent the single on this occasion. The cover sweeper, though, does the fielding. 72 for 1. And Danny Collins will go back into slip here for Hannah Jones, because I mean a lot of the women we're seeing playing in front of us today as Hannah Jones bowls, and this one is up down the offside of the pitch. A throw from Laura Jackson doesn't quite hit the stumps at the non-strikers end. It required some considerable backing up. 72 for 1. You know, they will have experienced some of the more unpleasant issues of sexism that cricket does have. They are clearly out there, and clearly these women out there playing in front of us, probably women who've come along to watch it, have experienced those things, because they do exist. And I suppose in some ways you're quite fortunate if you've not. So that attitude change, I guess, right from the people in the stands down to those who are playing, turning the ball away, like Alex Griffiths is there now into the leg side for another single. 74 for 1. It can have an impact right up to the sort of the level we're watching at the moment and beyond, into the England team, into the stands as well. It just by altering that attitude and that perception.
I think we've already seen such a huge change in the past few years, especially from, say, the 2017 World Cup. That look how far this has come already, and the differences and attitude changes we've seen, and it's just kind of trying to build on that as well, and just kind of speed it up, I think, almost, because I think that's what, you know, they all deserve, I think, is the best way to put it. You know, and I think that's also why we find it so important to focus that we're not just looking at kind of the domestic level and professional level. We're looking at it from grassroots and juniors to your internationals, you know, because it is, unfortunately, at every single level. There is no escaping it. And I think for a lot of women...
Here comes Sophia Turner to bowl from the Jimmy Anderson end, and this one is played into the offside, forward slightly, but almost neither back nor forward there from Griffiths. Doesn't find a run.
It's almost taken as that's just what it is, and that's just kind of what comes part and parcel of playing sport or just existing, when that isn't necessarily the case. So that's why it's that awareness and change of attitude is.
Here's Turner bowling to Griffiths, who goes onside this time as she tries to get forward, but again just struggling to get forward as much as she'd like. 74 for 1 it remains. And I suppose in some ways it can be difficult for men to realise it is happening, because it's obviously the very nature of sexism is it's not something that will affect them necessarily. There's an appeal for caught behind, it's out. Sophia Turner has got the wicket of Griffiths, who will have to walk back to the pavilion. 33 she has made of the 74 runs for Western Storm, but they now find themselves 2 wickets down. Both the openers are out.